Hello again, I'm Quell. Today I'm going to be showing you how I go about setting up my VR mixed reality green screen. Now I'm using a free application called LIV, that's L-I-V, that you can find in the Steam store, and I'm using it just with an Xbox Kinect camera and 6 very cheap blue tarps, which you'll see when I get running. First of all, there's just a few things that you'll need. Obviously a VR capable gaming PC, one of the 3 main VR headsets, that is a Vive, a Rift, or a Windows Mixed Reality headset. I'm using a Samsung Odyssey Windows Mixed Reality headset. It works just fine for this. Um, any decent camera or webcam. Like I said, I'm using an Xbox Kinect 1 camera just because I'm a cheap bastard and I like old tech. And any very clearly solid colored wall. Um, that can be green screen paper, a very good white wall, though white reflects a lot of colors off humans, off skin, so you'd probably rather not. Pretty much anything except white. Green works well. I've seen purple work well. Blue works well. I don't know. I went with blue because I got these $6.25 blue tarps. So you can do it with a lot of different things. So let's get to it. Um, First and foremost, you'll need the LIV client. Like I said, you can get that for free in your Steam. Just search Steam LIV LIV. Then once you have that installed, you'll go ahead and come over here and launch. Now there is a guide that you can open up and that'll take you to their website guide, and it's very intuitive. It'll walk you through a lot of everything, how to do a lot of things. It works really well with a lot of webcams and popular cameras, Canon 60, GoPros, etc. But I will just show you what I do. Bring up a mirror here so you can see what's going on inside. Gotta close some of my other emulation garbage. So as you can see here, it's showing the camera that I'm using, the Xbox Kinect 1 camera, and it's overly bright. You're going to adjust whatever camera you're using your camera's application to lower the exposure to like a healthy exposure, like a normal what you'd normally use as a good baseline. I just have one tiny little app that can affect the Xbox camera. So see, that's much healthier. Here you can see a bunch of cheap tarps and some pressure relieving pad that I'm using. I'm showing you this today because I'm moving my camera up a few feet so that I can get a better. I had it at like waist height, and for in-game, for it projecting the game, waist height kind of was odd because I'm setting this up for Beat Saber, so the blocks were coming like at waist, and then the camera was seeing it there. So now I've got it up here, kind of like from a little more of a bird's eye, so I ought to be able to see the blocks from more of a bird's eye as I'm playing. So let's see. So you'll go to camera, and then you're going to go to a new camera, add the Kinect. For me, the Kinect. I don't need this anymore. Then you'll go to calibration. So just go ahead and go to begin calibration, and at this point you're going to put your headset on. Hang on. Edit, calibration. The virtual camera isn't ready. Oh, my controllers weren't on. That's dumb. So I'm turning my controllers on. You want to see the LIV tracker appear in your Steam VR things, and that's one of the ways you'll know that it's installed correctly. It pretty much does that on its own, but for some reason it didn't this time. So we'll continue from where I was. So there's mirror and begin calibration. So this is what this actually normally looks like. You get your controllers and you'll press menu button to make the dashboard go away, and you'll click once to enable. So here we see where the virtual camera thinks it is right now. And what we're trying to accomplish here is lining up the virtual camera with the physical camera in the room. This used to be a two-step process that you use two different applications to achieve. And what's really cool is LIV has now integrated it into one, and that's phenomenal. So we're going to go ahead and press Calibrate Camera. It'll tell you up here what it's doing and why it's doing it. Don't move your camera at all. So as you can see, very first step is to bring your controller, and for Windows Mixed Reality, what's important, well, for anything, but for Windows particularly, make sure that your controller doesn't lose tracking during this, because the camera is going to be calibrating to your headset's internal room tracking data. So meander using your camera and your headset to your actual camera, and go ahead and emulate basically what they're doing with the Vive controller there. So bring your ring all the way up and click. And see now, that just set the central point for where the camera actually is. And we're like touching the camera. So I mean, this is pretty smart. Next, we're going to trace on over here to this one. And as you can see, we're going to put, yeah, this one looks like it wants to be as far back, following the image, as far back I'm just going to go about here. Now that might not be exactly what it's showing me in the image, but I'm just kind of winging it here. You have to fine tune it at the end anyway, so that's just is what it is. And then the bottom one. Yeah, and see now it's just showing to put the controller as far back as you can into the ring. So I'm looking at it to make sure that my Windows gives it the right data, center it, and pull. Okie dokie. And see now here's the thing, is that it does get things sort of wrong sometimes. And so now we need to correct the roll. And see, so I'm just clicking here to correct the roll by hand, but I think I can see that I want it at 360 degrees, so I can actually pop off onto the desktop and enter that manually, or I can stand here and click this. I've done this enough times that I've learned to start just going and entering it manually, honestly. And for my setup, I need to flip the orientation of the screen horizontally once. I don't know why. I think it's just a Windows Mixed Reality thing, but my controllers get just a little bit off until my controllers are flipped horizontally until I flip the camera, and then they behave right. So I'm just going to do those two things really quick. So I'm going to punch the roll in at 360. Yeah, see now the camera, now that camera is horizontal like I want it to be. And now I just need to do that flip. Oh, okay. Flip, save. I just went to keying, or crop and flip that let me flip that, and then I'm going back into the calibration so that I can see properly. Just making sure that I'm recording. That's kind of my luck or my MOs that I wouldn't have been recording this whole time. So now we can see, oh, wow, look at that. That's pretty crispy. That's pretty crispy. This is how the virtual controllers are tracking being emulated by the virtual controller is being emulated using the data that we just gave it. So it had almost all the data totally perfect, except for I just had to roll the camera a little bit, which is a lot better than it used to be. They didn't really even used to have Windows Mixed Reality support, so yeah, this is amazing. So I play facing this way. I'm going to make some very minor adjustments. I'll bring the field of view up just a little, and then I'm going to bring the camera forward just a touch. And then up just a touch. Just a touch. Okay. This looks like a pretty crispy, this is a really, really good calibration. Not gonna lie. So you just press save. That, as you can see, we're back to Steam Room. That just kind of sends you out. New calibration was imported. Okay. Now we go to keying. Keying is how you're going to set the room to block out what you don't want. Now really all I can set is blue, and you'll see how fast and effective that is. Really just kind of find a color close to what your room actually looks like, and then just play around with these little sliders until your background is solidly gone. And then I turn smoothness down quite a ways, and threshold down as much as I can stand, and see, there, we are blue screened in. Like I'd say, I'm ready to game. I'm gonna see how the calibration worked. So I'm gonna adjust my headset real quick and pop into Beat Saber and see how everything's looking. At this point, you can either launch Beat Saber manually and then use this screen to target it, or you can go here and do automatic launch, which typically works just fine too. So now we want the main Beat Saber screen out of the way, and see, now I'm standing inside Beat Saber. And what you'll see is a solid emulation of what I see inside of Beat Saber, using a bunch of cheap TARPS and an Xbox camera. So, I don't know. I think it's pretty neat. Alright, hello! I'm back to show you the final results of all our hard work calibrating. I took a break, because you should always take a break, and I reset my computer, because computers like to be reset, especially when you're using them for lots of very hard CPU intensive, overbearing VR emulation stuff. So, reset myself, reset the computer. Let's go ahead and play a song. all is going well. My controllers are tracking my hands really well. My every mistake. That was pretty good.